I have found quite an amazing solution if you're willing to use Canvas for your classroom tool. Let me just show you what it's capable of, and then you can decide if it's something you're interested in. In Canvas, there's something called outcomes. So outcomes is how we identify in Canvas specific learning targets. So I have started putting in learning targets for my Spanish 2 class. And so we have possessive pronouns here, we have 5.1 vocabulary, we have Hace time expressions, etc. So they're really easy to do. All you do is click on add outcome here. You name it whatever you want. And then down here, you can change these. So for example, I use a 4-point system, except for my AP class. So I'm going to choose 4 and then 3. I'm going to go ahead and insert a 2 here. So I'm going to click insert and I'm going to put 2 points possible, and I'm going to call that approaching. And then I'm going to change the 0 to a 1. I don't really care about a 0, and I'm going to call that something else. I'm going to call that no data. For example, I don't have any information on that. One thing I really like about this is you can calculate their proficiency in different ways. So I choose to use decaying average, and what that does is it calculates the most recent activity or most recent assignment as a higher percentage. So I set mine at 75%. So I want the most recent activity to count as 75% of their score. That way, if we did like a pre-test or something as we're learning, it doesn't hurt them, so because their last attempt is going to show it more. So I use that for Spanish because we make a ton of mistakes as we start to learn something, and I want their most recent assignment to count more. So that's the choice that I have made. You can also do n number of times. So what this does is, for example, if you want to have a student practice a specific skill or learning target a specific number of times. So for example, you can set it so they have to get a 3 5 times in order for them to meet that proficiency level. So that's how that calculates. Most recent score is just whatever they did last is going to be their calculation. And then highest score. So say they got a high score at the beginning, then they got a low score, it's going to count only the highest. So I like decaying average because it puts a little bit more emphasis on the practicing skills, but most of the calculation comes from the most recent. And again, I can change this. I've thought about even moving this up a little bit higher, but that's where I am now. And I can change these for different assignments. For example, with pronunciation, maybe I'll change this, to most recent or whatever. So that's pretty easy to use. I'm not going to save this because I don't need it. Let me show you what it looks like if I open up an assignment. So this is what we call in Canvas the speed grader, and it has the names of the students up here. So it's a drop-down menu, and I can select whatever student I want. And then here what they did is they screenshot their score. So this was a quiz that they did on Quizzes, which is a really efficient way for me to give them quizzes. You can see that she took the quiz 3 times. She got an 85, then a 95, and then a 100%. And so I can give that score to her. I can just enter whatever score. I tell them the highest score you get is the score I'm going to give you, so I'll give her 100% for a grade. But then I just click down here. After I write down 85%, which is just above here, then I just select, well, how do I think she's doing with that 100%? I'm going to go ahead and say she exceeds expectations. These do have different questions each time, so she's got a pretty good handle on this. So I'm going to select 4, and then I just click save, and that's done. And then I just select the next person, click the button, next person, click the button. It goes super fast. Then when you're done, it looks something like this. So I have a whole bunch of assignments with the numbers pointed here. You can hover over it and it'll give you information about each learning target, what percentage of students is at what point, etc. You can also export this. So if I hit export here, it will export it into an Excel file. So here's an example of an Excel file. I've hidden their names, and it has their scores here, 4, 3, 2, 1. So you can manipulate this data however you want. It's pretty easy to use. So it's also easy to, you can show students information. And the students and parents have access to this. So this is a student, and so this particular student has mastered all of these. This one's not mastered, is not due yet. She hasn't turned anything in for that one. But you can also see how many assignments have been aligned to that particular task or learning task. So these only have one so far. So that's why it says one on each of these. So basically, it's super easy to use, and you get this nice, easy data table to look at. So it's, again, doesn't take any more time. You can also set it so in these outcomes, when you're setting up the outcomes, when you click on the 4-3-2-1, it will actually create a grade for them if you want to do that. I so far haven't done that because I like to grade them differently, but that is an option if you choose to go that way. So all the students and all the parents have access to this data, as well as the teachers, and you can share it with other teachers that teach the same subject, so that's kind of nice.